Hello, Sebastian here. We're going to do a mobility circuit which you can use for a warm-up or even for a cool-down as well, or any recovery day that you are not keen to train but you are still keen to perhaps increase your mobility, right? Which is a very important thing nowadays, especially if you spend quite a bit of time sitting or just still on the same position. Right, so in order to get into that full range of motion, I'm going to invite you to first stand nice and upright with your shoulders back. And we're going to start simply with your shoulders. So we're going to go both shoulders at the same time, creating big circles. So the idea is to explore what's the range of motion that you have and trying to challenge it, trying to push it a little bit further. We're going to go for 5 of those in one direction. Yep. If you want, you can come up into your tippy toes just so you start getting those calves active. Right, and then we're going to go the other way. So the other direction, another 5. Full range of motion. So always try to breathe in and out as you do these exercises, because the breathing is going to help you to kind of relax the muscles when they get into that stretch position, so you can actually lengthen them and increase that range. Right, so then we get into the hips. So a bit of balancing in here and glute activation. So standing on one leg, activate the glute, activate your core, try to align your hips, and then we're going to mobilize one of your hips, drawing also circles. From there, we're going to go again 5 on one direction, and then 5 in the other direction. As much as you can, yes, so increase that range of motion of your hip, and then you go for the other side, always making it even. And if you feel like any of your sides is a little bit tighter or weaker, to mobilize it, then you can perhaps do a few more on that side, just so we work towards a good body symmetry. Not only symmetry of size, but also symmetry of functionality. Right, once you finish with the basic joints, then we're going to go down into the knees. So we're going to draw circles with your knees. And now the idea is actually to mobilize your ankles in there. So we're going to maintain your heels on the floor. So from the side, see, I'm making sure that the heels stays down. And then I'm checking how much I can push the knees forward to the sides without raising your heels. Yeah, so again, we go for 5 on one direction and 5 on the other direction. Perfect. Right, and then we go with your hips. So pushing your hips to the side and then forward, then to the other side. So again, we continue to draw circles with different parts of the body, trying to find that limitation of your range and working around it. 5 and then 5 the other way. Nice contraction of your glutes in here. Excellent. Right, coming back into the alignment. So now we're going to start stretching dynamically those hamstrings. So we go for the nice step forward. We're going to slide, bend the knee, holding your back straight. We're going to lean all the way down to touch your toes, just big toe with your opposite hand, so you get that nice stretch on the back of the leg. And then bring it back, go for the other side. Same thing, hold your back straight, push your hips back, and then try to touch your big toe. Yep, and then from the side it will look like this. So we continue. We try to get 5 on each side. Nice stretch. If you want to make it a bit more challenging, you can try like a single leg deadlift. So you can do back leg off the floor. So it requires definitely a lot more balancing. And then you go down to touch your toes. You can extend the back leg. Yep. And you still get that nice stretch and also a contraction to come up. So you get a nice stretch on the back of the leg, and then you contract to drive your hips forward and get back into the upright position. We continue to complete those 10 repetitions from here. But if you find it hard, don't worry. The idea is to mobilize and find the stretches. So if you're struggling too much with the balance, don't worry. Just keep the back foot on the floor and do it from here. Right, next movement. We're going to stretch those hip flexors. So we're stepping back into like a lunge. But in here, what we're trying to do is maintain the back leg straight. Tuck your hips under, contracting your glutes and the bottom of your belly. And then from here, you're gonna bend the front leg just as much as you need to find the stretch coming through the front of your hips. And then from here, we're gonna rotate, bring in your hand, and then your torso also rotating kind of in a diagonal movement. Yep, and then we're gonna switch to the other side. So step back, hold the back leg straight, tuck your hips under, bend the knee, and twist this way. And then we continue with this side. So step back lunge, twist. See how I'm trying not to arch too much the lower back by tucking the hips. That's really important, yeah? So stabilizing your hips, your lower back, and then continue to move to complete those 10 reps or 5 on each. Nice, so then we get into the inner thighs. So from here we're gonna go toes pointing straight ahead, we push the hips back, yep. And then we're gonna go side to side. So lean towards one side and the other side. If you can't do it with your hands off, so you get active leg work from here. And we go side to side. Usually, the first couple of reps, you're gonna feel perhaps a bit more stiff. And then each time that you go down towards one side, you might be able to drop a few more centimeters. Remember to use your breath in and then match the exhale with the deepest stretch. That's when usually the muscles, they can lengthen a bit more. Nice. Right, so next one, we're gonna go for the spider reach, one of my favorites because it's pretty much full body. So first of all, we get into a high plank position, so we go hands on the floor, pushing the scapulas away, tucking your hips in, squeezing your glutes. So active core from here. We bring the leg into the side, and then from there we're gonna rotate to look up, and then we're gonna exhale and bring the arm underneath the other one, bring it across. So we are rotating the other way. It's not a very long range of motion, but see how much you can twist from there as you drop your hips on there. So you get a nice stretching here and a nice rotation of your torso. And we go alternating sides. Yep, from here, exhale, bring across. But if it gets too much, you can always do it with the back knee on the floor. Yep, so you can do it kneeling. Yep. From here, rotate, look up, and then bring across. On the other side. Right, at least 3 of those on each side, all the way to 5 on each, making 10 repetitions in total. That's perfect. Right, so next one, we're gonna go for the pikes. So from here, we're gonna go for a downward facing dog position. And we're gonna make it a bit more challenging. So from here, once you get into that downward facing dog, which the idea is to slide, bend the knees, lift your butt up and push your chest into your thighs. We're gonna go pressing your heels towards the floor, kind of walking that dog. That's why the yogis usually say, walk that dog, right? So pushing your heels one at a time, so straightening the legs, so you get kind of like a deeper stretch on each of your legs as you try to straighten them without slouching. Yes, so keep lifting your butt up and keep pushing your chest towards your thighs as much as you can. Yes, if you don't get it right, doesn't matter. What matters in here is the intention and looking for that stretch. Right, and then from here we're gonna bring it down. We drop the knees, we pull the shoulders back, squeezing the scapulas together, and then we're gonna twist all the way from your hips up to your head, looking side to side. If you can do it with your knees off, tightening your glutes, just to get a little bit more tension through the core, through the glutes, as we stretch it dynamically, side to side. The idea is not to hold the stretch for too long, it's just to find it and then come back to the other side. Right. Perfect. Right, from there we can drop the knees, sit back into your hips. Always it's good to do like a position that is opposite to what we've just been doing. So we were kind of stretching and lengthening your spine, and now we kind of contract it. So it feels like a nice relaxation. Feel free to go side to side from here. So move towards one side, move towards the other side. Nice. Right, and look at what we're doing here. So we get into a kneeling position. We continue with that nice stretch for your hips. So what we're doing is, I'm gonna push your hips forward, getting a nice contraction of your glutes. And then with that hand, you're gonna go down, maybe to grab your ankle from there. And then we're gonna try to reach up as far as you can with your arm reaching up. And then we're gonna change to the other side. So we keep alternating side to side. If you find it easy, perhaps you can go all the way down towards the floor and even behind, but just make sure that you are still able to maintain your hips fully extended with a nice contraction of your glutes and without necessarily arching too much your lower back, so you kind of suck the belly in, so your core is also working. Yep. We keep alternating those, so we get to those 10 repetitions. Nice. And then what we're doing is we're gonna go for one leg forward, one leg back, and we're gonna dynamically stretch those hip flexors. So what we're doing is you get into a 90 degrees on here, and then just simply going back and forth from there. So you can perhaps breathe in as you go back, exhale as you deepen that nice stretch on your hips. If you want, you can also go a little bit further out, and then when you go back, you switch into the hamstring stretch. So you go forward into the hips, back into the hamstring stretch. A few of those on each side. I give you options here, just do whatever you feel like is possible for you, but also challenging. So always embrace a bit more of that challenge, especially in here, for the range of motion of your joints. So I'm doing just the hip flexors in here. But then if I feel good, then I can go all the way back into the hammies and then switching into the hip. Hammies and hip from there. Right, just on that position. Right, we keep that 90-90. We're gonna drop the next leg to the side. And we keep again the back leg at the 90-degree angle. And from here, we're gonna open your hips, doing a nice mobility drill for your hips. So what we're doing, it's hands on the floor if you can, but if you need to, you help yourself with these ones, Let's see if you can go from there into a nice deep stretch for your glutes. So the idea is to bring your chest towards that knee. If you can, get a little bit of rotation, so you bring the opposite shoulder towards the knee, but just enough so you feel that nice stretch in your glutes. And then from here, we're gonna also push to come up. That will get us a nice activation of those glutes, so the strength should come from here. So pushing your hips forward. And then we come down. And then we're gonna switch to the other side. So switch to the other side. So you see it from behind, from here. I'm first leaning to find the stretch, and then I'm gonna push it myself back up to here. Nice contraction of the glutes. And then bring it back down. Switch to the other side, as upright as possible for that transition. Lean into that stretch, push to come up. Nice. Right, we keep it going, side to side, until you complete those 10 repetitions from there. Right, we're gonna leave it there, but there are many more to go, many more to come. Have fun and enjoy.